Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. Man, I had to get home and watch and see what in the world was going on with this football game. And if you look at the first few minutes of this football game, you're thinking there's no way that the score can end in the score that it ended with. I mean, the score is literally insane when you think about 36-26. And I want us to make sure, I want us to really pay attention to what we were watching today. Because I'm telling you, this is absolutely crazy what we watched today. What's going on, Lord, Jared, Dominique? What's going on? How about the Cowboys? Nisi, Jared, what's going on? Who's this? Alonzo, what's going on? Nisi again, Janie, what's going on? This game was absolutely insane because it makes you wonder, like, what are the Cowboys? What are they trying to do now? Or are they trying to get in the top 10, which they have now dropped out of the top 10 of the draft? Are they trying to win? I mean, what's going on, Chris? I mean, are they about to try to make a playoff run? I mean, what are the Cowboys doing? I'm going to tell y'all something. I've been telling y'all this all season. For all of us who happy about the win, and I'm not saying I'm not happy. I'm not saying I'm not happy. What's going on, Keith Rivera? But I've been telling y'all, and y'all gonna call me a prophet before it's over. Jerry Jones will mess around and re-sign Mike McCarthy. He called the game today. He called the game today. He really did. And don't get me wrong, the Washington Commanders helped him out. What's going on, Gabe? Man, Gabe said I was the photo shoot. I'm a preacher in my other life, man, so I have to dress halfway decent. But we literally, I mean, they're going to wind up, y'all. Everybody's happy, but I'm telling you, they will mess around and they'll re-sign Mike McCarthy. I'm telling y'all. I'm telling y'all because y'all better get ready. LaQueen, did you notice it too? Jerry Jones. I don't know. Maybe they caught him at the wrong moment, LaQueen. But Jerry Jones wasn't smiling the way you would have thought he would have been smiling. Jerry Jones wasn't smiling. Y'all know why Jerry Jones wasn't smiling? Like y'all do know Tennessee won today, right? Y'all do know the Tennessee Titans won today, right? Of all the crazy things, the Tennessee Titans went out here and won the game. And so now you have to ask yourself, because the reality is, well, if you're trying to get in the top 5 of the draft, and we're gonna preview this game here in just a moment, but I'm saying if you're trying to get in the top 5 in the draft, this is the game that I didn't think they could win. The Cowboys. I will be shocked if the Cowboys don't beat the New York Giants like a drum. I'll be shocked. Do y'all realize, just looking at this today, let me show you what transpired today. Let me show you just how crazy the draft order has changed. Just look at how insane this is. This is the current draft order. Do y'all see what happened to the New York Giants? New York Giants and Las Vegas Raiders? They're exactly where they want to be. And I said it yesterday. 4 wins 4 wins, you're not getting in the top 10. I don't think you're getting in the top 10 with 4 wins. It's going to be hard to get in the top 10 with 4 wins. You definitely, and I said it before, I knew the Cowboys were not going to crack the top 5. That is over and done with now. And I want you to think about this. These teams all clustered up in here in the top 6. Jacksonville has to play Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken, twice. They have to play the Las Vegas Raiders. I mean, when you think about what's going on here, I mean, I don't really know what the Cowboys, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess you don't go out and just say we're going to roll over and lose, especially, we go over the game here in a moment. I mean, if the Washington Commanders are going to give you the football game, then what do you do? I mean, what do you do? I could not believe what I was watching with the Washington Commanders. They are fraudulent. They are very fraudulent. And this is one of the reasons why the Cowboys kind of knew that if they could stay healthy, I'm not going to say a lot about Dak Prescott, but Dak Prescott puts up 35, 42 points on that Washington team easy. I mean, it was there all day long. But I like what they did. Cooper Rush played within himself. Mike McCarthy did exactly what I said he should have did last week. Every time he makes a good play, every time he makes a big throw, run the ball. Settle him back down. Keep him settled down. And so you think about the Cowboys, they really called a good game pretty much all the way around. And so they basically knocked themselves out of the top 10. Now the Bengals, that's the one team that I don't think the Cowboys are going to beat. I think they're too much for the Cowboys. But I do believe the Cowboys are going to beat the Giants. They're going to go to 5 wins. And then the talk is really going to start. Are they about to make a playoff run? Stop it. They're not making a playoff run. But the issue is there will probably be another game that they could possibly win. I mean, I have a hard time believing that the Cowboys are going to be able to beat the Buccaneers. I think the Buccaneers are well coached, but I do think they're going to beat the Giants, y'all. They're going to beat the Giants. And it's going to be total chaos and disorder out there the more they win. The goal is to win a few more games to move in the draft to get a I guess so. Got lucky. We still don't look good. We're going to look at that in just a moment, Crush. We're going to dissect it and really look at what happened in the game. Mike McCarthy is an evil genius. It was worth the draft position to see the look on Jerry's face. Did y'all see? There it is again, Robert. Jerry didn't look too happy to me. I could be crazy, but Jerry didn't look too happy to me. Mike McCarthy heard Jerry Jones talking about Cliff Kingsbury and Robert Sala's potential head coach replacement and said, the heck with that. Hey, man, it was crazy. MG should have lost. I agree. I don't understand, because if you're not going to make a playoff run, the Cowboys are still, if I'm not mistaken, I looked at it earlier, and I think in the NFL playoff standings, I don't care if the Cowboys went undefeated from this point forward. Everything I'm looking at, the Cowboys are so far back in the playoff picture. I mean, look at the playoff picture. This is the playoff picture right here. The 7th spot is 6-5. So I guess at the same time, I mean, you got the 5-5 Seahawks, 5-5 49ers, 5-5 Rams, 5-6 Buccaneers, 4-7 Saints. I mean, the Cowboys are at number 12. I mean, they would have to make some crazy jumps and basically go undefeated, and the Falcons and the Commanders would have to have a total. So you get these bottom 3 teams right here. I mean, they would all basically have to almost lose out. And I don't even know if you still win based on the tiebreakers if you wind up tied with some of them. But it's like, what are they doing? What are the Cowboys doing, y'all? I'm confused. What's going on, Angie? I'm really, at this point, I'm confused on this. The queen, wasn't he? Trayvon better watch out. The kid Butler is improving. I'm sorry, I'd trade Trayvon Diggs. I would. I think it's strange to me how this keeps happening. Some of the best games they play or have played now are when they're either missing Trayvon Diggs or Micah Parsons. I thought the best game before this one was the Pittsburgh Steelers game. They're missing Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons come back. The best game they have now I think this is the best game they played. Trayvon Diggs is missing. This was a crazy day to me. This was a crazy day to me. We're going to go over all of this. I want to go over all of this so we can really dissect and see what happened in this game. Jerry's holding the play sheet in his hand. For real. I don't know. I could be crazy, but Jerry didn't look happy to me. I looked at my wife. I said, Jerry don't look happy to me. If the Cowboys make a playoff run of sort, the media will start the nonsense. The team is better without Dak. Well, you better believe they will. You better believe they will. I think this is fool's gold. I think it's fool's gold because I think they'll beat the New York Giants. They will probably beat the Carolina Panthers, but I think they're going to run into a buzzsaw when they run into Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. I think they'll run into a buzzsaw with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I don't think there's no way they beat the Philadelphia Eagles in that last game of the season. But hey, stranger things. Who knows? Who knows? But it is absolutely crazy. This is just such a strange day when you look at how everything went down. So let's kind of start. I want to start out with these offensive keys. Because today, and let's start out with this right here. This was strange to me. So when we look at the storylines I talked about earlier in the week. So when we look at the storylines, Dan Quinn's first game against Dallas, are the Cowboys trying to win? And I don't know if they necessarily tried to win. I just think it fell into their hands when we're going to break it all down. I just think it fell into their hands that there were things that happened that they probably didn't expect to happen. Will Mike run Rico 25 times? Didn't do that. They had the I don't know, maybe I missed it. I didn't see Jonathan Mingo, but I did see they are trying to do what I thought they should do. I think that when you get down in the red zone, I think that's Trey Lance time. And I think you don't need to just do it one play. I think in order for the Trey Lance package in the red zone to be effective, I really think you need to do that. I really think you need to do that for the entire time you're in the red zone. Don't bring Cooper Rush back in. No, you go ahead and let Trey Lance do that whole thing and let him play it out. And I think they can score in the red zone, but I don't know. What am I saying? I don't want them to knock themselves out of draft position, but they already have. Spider-Man says what we are seeing is a lot of second-tier players getting lots of playing time and starting to become salty. The O-line looks solid. Butler was fantastic. And the O-line, isn't it strange? Minus Zach Martin, the line looked good. It really did. And so I'm going to show us some more things, too, at the end that I think happened, that really helped them win this game. Trayvon has regressed, and it's more than obvious. And some people are saying that maybe when he gets he comes back 1 year removed from that knee injury, he'll be better, but I don't know. We'll see. Trayvon got hurt shooting that music. One of them dance moves. Yeah, one of them dance moves at the club, huh? You legit talk like a preacher, too. Appreciate you, Jared. Yeah, I just don't know way I know how to talk to you, man. If 10-7 and win a playoff team, do we keep up? Carl, forget 10-7. If Mike McCarthy mess around and win 2 more games, boy, Mike might spite Jerry and say, I'm going to go out here and win this thing. Mike McCarthy didn't want DQ to win and win against Jerry. He didn't get the memo. It was good to see Bland. Yep, Bland. Looked pretty good. It's crazy. After Trayvon Diggs and C.D. Lamb went to shoot a music video right after the Texans game, and Diggs couldn't play today a few days later, make it make sense. You know what's even crazy? Do y'all know the Houston Texans got beat by the Tennessee Titans? Boy. Jay Recruiter said the defense is playing good enough to beat all the remaining teams. I have said it, and y'all have heard me say it the whole season. I will fight for Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer, whether anyone accepts it or not, he's been doing more with less. And the more he gets back, the better he does. And he keeps doing exactly what needs to be done. He keeps stopping the run. And so, yeah, the defense was balling. Special teams. Yep, Nisi showed up tonight. I'm going to bring that up here in just a moment. Don't get me wrong. I thought Dallas would lose. Honestly, I did too. I'm wondering, does Mike McCarthy want to be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys? I mean, he's definitely going to make a case. I don't think they know how to quite use Mingo yet. He was in for a couple of plays. I don't think they know how to use him. Defense played great, but WFT offense was a mirage. Well, you think about what they did this week. The offense scored, 20 points? They played good enough that this was a replay of 2022. If the defense could get some turnovers, then they could probably win the game. Or if the special team stepped up, they could win the game. Yep, Armstrong got under Dallas' skin. I told Hoffman was the real deal. I mean, they looked pretty good. The O-line kept Cooper Rush clean. Yep, look at his uniform. He looked pretty good. And that was a Washington's house. Boy, that's crazy. Dan Quinn, bro. Dan Quinn, I'm sorry. You couldn't get a job. You couldn't get a job as a head coach again with me. I mean, I'm sorry. You let this Cowboy team beat you? Man, but they played a good game. If we beat the Giants, then we might win against Washington again and the Eagles, and we win that division would be crazy. Well, they're going to have to win those non-divisional games too. Carolina, which they're in the NFC, but they'll have to beat Carolina, the Bucks. They'll have to beat those two teams. I think it's going to be tough down the stretch, but I do think, the scary part is that if the defense rises to the occasion like they did today, man, anything's possible. The Texans and the Commanders both 7-5, tired and ready for a bye week. Yeah, probably so. I can see that too. Quinn wanted to win that game. I agree with it. He did. He wanted to win it, didn't win it. I'm going to read these last few comments and I'm going to get to the rest of this overview here. Mike Zimmer is getting his pieces back slowly. It don't matter. I'm giving Zimmer. Zimmer been doing his thing. He has been. Honestly, with what I've seen today, the Cowboys could turn the season around and showed fight, heart, and made Dan Quinn shook. And I'm going to tell you something, man. I'm going to tell you something else. Do not be surprised. See, when you come into a game with the expectation of this team is trash, that same trash team will wind up beating you. And the way people have been talking about the Cowboys, I mean, everybody just kind of looks at the Cowboys like, okay, good, get right game, no big deal. Well, you keep on thinking that they're sleeping, because I can tell you who not sleeping. Mike Zimmer's not sleeping. I think Mike Zimmer, y'all coaching for a job, whether it be with the Cowboys or somebody else. Mike Zimmer is showing he still got it. He's showing he still got it. And so I thought it was interesting today that, like I said, I was kind of shocked this morning when I heard Trayvon Diggs wasn't playing. But I want to go over the offensive keys. And I want to show you how did they fare in the offensive keys I talked about this week. And watch how they fared. Look at this. Offensive keys. Run the ball. Run Rico 25 times, minimum. Go to Lance quickly. Mingo deep in sweeps. Stop the penalties. No turnovers. When you look at what they were able to do, they ran the ball. They didn't run Rico 25 times, but they ran the ball. I wish they would have ran it more, but they ran the ball. They tried to work Lance in sooner. Now it looks like Lance is going to be in their. It looks like Lance is actually going to be in their red zone package. Mingo still hadn't figured out how to get him in, but I think if they can figure out how to get Mingo in, watch out, because they will be even more. I'm not going to use the words deadly right now talking about the Dallas Cowboys, but they will be a lot better. Stop the penalties. And another key, I said no turnovers. And so when you look at how the Cowboys fared in some of these things, I think these are the parts of the game that are extremely telling as it applies to the Cowboys. Let's look at this box score real quick. When you look at the box score for this game, it's insane, because the score flashed across my phone when I was at church, and I was like, wow, this must have been a shootout. But then I'm watching the game, and I'm like, when are they going to score all these points? Because they didn't score any of those points hardly until right there, midway through the fourth quarter. It was a crazy, crazy game. Crazy game when you think about it in the grand scheme of things. But I want to look at this box score real quick. This box score, when you think about it, is insane. So let's look at what they did with Cooper Rush. So when you look at Cooper Rush was 24 of 32, 247 yards, and 2 TDs, which it wasn't necessarily a great game by Cooper Rush. I mean, when you look at the coverage, I mean, the one throw to the tight end, busted coverage. I mean, he was wide open. So he got that touchdown. Then he got the touchdown to Tolbert right there in the end zone, which wasn't necessarily a great throw, but it was pretty good play design. And so Tolbert in front of the man got what he needed. And so Cooper Rush, while he wasn't great, Cooper Rush was very efficient. And this is exactly what you wanted from Cooper Rush. I mean, the wheels seemed like they almost fell off a couple of times. Got saved on a pass interference on an interception. But at the end of the day, one of the things I said is stop the turnovers. Well, Cooper Rush didn't have any turnovers. He didn't have any turnovers. And he hit what he needed to hit. Rico Dowdle, here it is again. Rico Dowdle running his season average, 19 for 86, 4.5 yards a carry. They got Zeke in 3 carries. Not counting the Cooper Rush nonsense. They got CeeDee Lamb in for 1 and Trey Lance in for 1. So when you add that all up, not counting Cooper Rush, you get 24 rushes. And so, and if you add Cooper Rush in, you got 28. So they ran the ball. I still don't think they ran it enough, and they were almost in danger. If the defense didn't play so well, it might would have been, the Commanders might could have did something. But, hey, man, he ran the ball. He ran it good enough. But I think they need to run it more. I mean, you look at the receiving. I mean, nothing to really write home about. I mean, Luke Schoonmaker looked pretty good the last couple of weeks. Kind of like what we're seeing with Luke Schoonmaker. He's the one that got the touchdown in the broken coverage in the end zone. Now, this is what I want us to turn our attention to, because this is where I think the game was won. I think the game was won on defense. I think the defense looked absolutely great. Jay Orman says, I know Cooper Rush will never beat Dak, but when Cooper Rush has a time to throw in the pocket and when you run the ball, Cooper Rush balls out and had a good game. Hope he keeps it up. And, like I said, this is the key, because this is how he did it in 2022. And I'm going to show you how this is a replay of 2022. The defense, in order for Cooper Rush to win, the defense has to be absolutely lights out. They have to be lights out, because at the end of the day, they only scored, in the reality of this, they only scored 20 points. They only scored 20 points. But if you tell me your special teams are going to give you another 14 points, I'll take it. I'll take that all day long. So in the grand scheme of things, that's why I want to flip the script on this. This is where this game was won. I want you to look at this. Josh Butler, look at this. 10 tackles, 2 assists, 1 sack. Eric Kendricks, 4 tackles, 6 assists. Michael Parsons, you want to see what Michael Parsons should be looking like? 4 tackles, 4 assists, 2 sacks. That's what Michael Parsons needs to be doing on a regular basis. Now, you look at this. Jordan Lewis, they missed him last week. He came back real good. 3 tackles, 3 assists. Deron Bland, they've been missing Deron Bland. 3 tackles, 3 assists. Donovan Wilson, 2 for 2. Malik Hooker, 2 for 2. Safety play was pretty good today. Odigizua, two tackles, 1 assist. Wanye Thomas, 2 tackles, 1 assist. I mean, when you look at how their defense played, their defense was, they played extremely well. They played extremely well. And I'm telling y'all, Mike Zimmer, I've been saying it the whole season. Mike Zimmer is doing his thing. Mike Zimmer's doing his thing, y'all. Mike Zimmer has really got this defense. Man, he's got them humming, man. He's got them humming. And look, you think about this. I'm going to look at the defense of what I predicted for the defense because that's the part that's really telling. But if you look at Jaden Daniels' stats, Daniels' stats tell you the story of the game. Jaden Daniels, 2 interceptions. 2 interceptions. And a lot of these yards he got, one of them came on a big play in the 4th quarter. But for the most part, they handled up on Jaden Daniels. For the most part, they handled up on Jaden Daniels. He was 7 for 74, 1 touchdown. But this stuff is deceptive when he's getting it and how he's getting it. But look at the running backs. Look at what the Cowboys did to a top 5 running offense. Austin Eckler, 9 for 22. Jeremy Nichols, 3 for 22. De'Ami Brown, 1 for 14. Brian Robinson, 5 for 13. Mike Zimmer's been doing this. This isn't new. Mike Zimmer has been doing this. Mike Zimmer has been showing out, y'all, period. In the story, and I've been saying it, I'm going to keep saying it. Mike Zimmer has been doing more with less. He's been doing more with less. And when you think about, I said it last week, what's been betraying Mike Zimmer's defense? It has been bad secondary play. Guess what they had today? They didn't have good secondary play. They had great secondary play. Absolutely great secondary play. And they stopped the run. This is it right here. This is how they won this game. The Commanders, they couldn't do what they wanted to do. Look at how many times they ran. They ran, 12, 13, 17 times? Not counting Jaden Daniels. So you really kept their run game in check. And when you can keep a team's run game in check and you are ahead on the scorecard, y'all think about this. The Cowboys play better, and most teams do. They play better with the lead. Mike Zimmer was able to bring a little pressure, bring a little heat. And did y'all notice something they did with Michael Parsons? They moved Michael Parsons all around the field. For a moment, y'all tell me what you think. For a moment, I thought I was watching Dan Quinn's defense again. I thought I was watching Dan Quinn's defense, but with an added wrinkle, stopping the run. I'm telling y'all, Zimmer, I don't know if anybody's paying attention. Zimmer has solidified him another job in the NFL. If people aren't looking at what Mike Zimmer is doing with this team, Mike Zimmer's earned a job, period. Robert said at one point Dallas had 18 players between starters and significant backups injured and out with various amounts of time. Yep, for sure. Victor, that all they had to do for Dak, run the ball, no penalty, turnover, play solid defense. That's it. That's it, Victor. Mike McCarthy called probably his second best game of the season. He made sure Cooper Rush played within himself. He made sure they were running rub routes. He made sure they were doing the play design was so much better. Yeah, it was a good game, period. It was. And Turpin did that Madden spin and did them dirty. It was crazy. I didn't think the ball, you're talking about the one, I thought the one in the end zone, was that not the Tolbert? I didn't think that ball looked that good. I didn't. I know the Dallas Cowboys had a rough patch, but they needed to win one. Yep, they did. But I think the issue becomes, so what does that mean for you on the draft? Look at this. And by the way, Dallas, 4 penalties for 20 yards. Did I not say? Stop the penalties. Stop the penalties. Sam Ford, who is that? I have to see what you got that right. I'm jumping ahead, but I'm glad Turpin kept his head in the game after he dropped the punt and took it to the crib. Well, you think about it, Turpin broke the game open. That was the backbreaker, because I believe that the Commanders are probably about to come back, but it didn't help any that they had a missed extra point. That missed extra point, I just wonder what happens if they get that, but it doesn't matter. It's spilled milk. The game is over. Okay, gotcha. The 6'7" tight end. DQ was too happy every time they showed him on the big screen, so I found myself hoping that Dallas wins. Yep. And I'm going to tell you something, Lewis Bailey, what's going on? I think Dan Quinn thought they were going to win this game easy because everyone was saying it. Yeah, Victor, you know why Paulson had a lot of pressure? They moved him around. They didn't know where it was coming from. They moved him around. I mean, they knew, but they didn't know. They moved him around. They didn't just line him up on the edge. They moved him around. They let him do different things. And so Mike Zimmer, I'm telling y'all, Mike Zimmer did his thing, y'all. Mike Zimmer did his thing. And Jaden Daniels, Jaden Daniels just wasn't himself. And I think a part of the reason why he wasn't himself is because of what Dan Quinn was doing to him. I mean, Dan Quinn was giving him fits. Man, Greg Olsen, I'm so glad he's not calling the Fox games like he used to. Take away that 86-yard pass play and Daniels didn't hurt us. No, he didn't. That's why I say the box score, you have to look at the game in the box score, because he didn't do anything until the end. Nisi said Diggs better get on board with Zimmer's defense. He's going to get left behind. Second and third teams are stepping up. Yes, the Butler kid looked really good for sure. What time is it? Rush hour. And like I said, let's be careful. Let's just be careful with I'm sorry. The Schoonmaker touchdown, total blown coverage. But I do like the fact that Mike McCarthy made Cooper Rush this week play within himself. He played within himself, and he didn't try to do too much. Maybe Mike got a win to shut Jerry up. Yeah, pretty much. Yep, box score arguments. Did you see the defense in the fourth quarter? The Cowboys defense looked pretty good. They just looked great. Yes, they kind of got a little loose at the end. But thankfully, and this is why I'm going to get to this now, man, y'all remember what I said when I say you need complimentary football? Today, the Cowboys had complimentary football. It don't mean that it's going to be 33 in the third, 33 in the third, 33 in the third. It may be 50, 30, 20. It may be 50, 25, 25. And if I had to say it the way I see it, I think this game was 60, 20, 20. Mike Zimmer's defense was everything today. It was. Mike Zimmer's defense today looked like Dan Quinn's defense of 2022. It just looked so good. The Big Time Show. What's going on, Big Time? You had some hungry guys playing on defense. They're trying to earn jobs. It makes a difference when you have guys playing like that. It did. It did. And I think, you know what? And I also think, Robert, they were tackling a whole lot better. Strange how they were tackling a lot better without Trayvon Diggs out there, but that could be coincidence. Dan Quinn forgot he didn't take all. Quinn said he didn't take all Dallas men, and they put on him what he taught them. And you know what I was really proud of? Micah Parsons, I believe, finally got it. I'm not going to let people say I took it easy on Dan Quinn because Dan Quinn got my family tickets. Because I said me and Dan Quinn talk on a weekly basis. I mean, Micah Parsons, this is what you do, bro. You put up a shut up. And when you do all that talking, man, you better come in the game and you better ball out. This is what you do. People can take your talking if you're going to come in and ball out. But if you out here just half footing around, man, nobody want to see that stuff. Do you think, we played better without Diggs? No doubt. No doubt. And I think Diggs may be an issue. He may be an issue. And we don't want to admit it. I trade Diggs. I would straight up trade Diggs. Commanders probably win if they go for 2. You know what? The way that defense was playing, they had them shook. Dan Quinn put that one up so quick, he had them shook. Because I think any other time, Dan might would have went for 2. Yep, Ronnie Young, I said it earlier, Dan Quinn thought they were going to blow the Cowboys away. I think straight up he did. And I done told y'all I'm different than other folk. I don't care how sorry a team is. I wish I would play a sorry team. I'm going to talk that team up to my team like they're the best team in the world. I want y'all to go out here and destroy them. Destroy this team. Give them no daylight. They're this. I'm going to talk every good point about that team. But, the Dallas Cowboys be in the press so much, and the Cowboys could really use this to their own advantage. If they would shut up and focus on playing football and let everybody else do the talking, you let them do the talking. Because not only are y'all listening to the talk, well, the other teams listen to the talk too. Let them listen to how bad you are. Let them fall into the trap. And, man, you come out and you play like you did today, man, you can beat a whole lot of people. Somebody tell DQ you don't win games on paper. Like we used to say in the hood, Robert, no STR, SCR, straight up. About time podcast pauses show up. I'm telling you, Mark, when you show up, we ain't gonna say too much about your podcast. You gotta play, man. You gotta play. Garbage time yards for Jalen, man. Yeah. Are we going to keep the same energy for him as Dak Prescott? Man, I said it today. They're collapsing. Yep, garbage time. Robert said, oh, wait a minute. Diggs is not going to have to learn to play differently in tackle bus. And he's, yep. I hope they do trade him. These division games are always tough. Hey, Gabe Guerrero, did it not look like a rivalry game today? It looked like a rivalry game. It really did. I mean, it looked like a rivalry game. I mean, Mike Zimmer got the memo, y'all. He did. Yep. Gabe says they scout each other well. Even the Browns beat the Ravens and Steelers. Yep. Nisi, he wasn't missing Parsons today. Nope. He wasn't. Yep. Losers never win and winners never lose. But Jerry got his Cowboy fan base thinking losing is winning. Man, you know what? Some people say that winning is the best revenge. Mike McCarthy, this should have been your mindset the whole year. The way Jerry's been doing you, bro, boy, you should have been fighting tooth and nail to do what you did today. You should have wheeled this team to the playoffs, bro. Straight up. Ronnie said, I give Dan Quinn 2 years of the head coach for Washington, and it'll be chasing his butt out of there. Oh! People don't understand why they ran him out of Atlanta. He collapsed after that Super Bowl win. They ran him out. It took Kendrick to put Parsons in his place. Also, stop going over smiling with the enemy. No doubt. Michael needed to show up and show out after those apologetic remarks on his podcast about Mike McCarthy. For real. Blaine is going to make Diggs step his game up. I hope he do. But I'll be honest with you. I mean, I think the Cowboys really should be considering what can they do in the draft. I mean, can they get some draft capital? I mean, because you're knocking yourself out, and they are now literally going to knock themselves out. They're already out of the top 10. And I think with the Giants win, once they hit number 5, I mean, you're basically back to mid-pack. You're basically back to mid-pack in the draft. So, what do you do with that? And so, when I go back to what I talked about, I mean, the Cowboys did some of the things I talked about. They ran the ball, didn't run it as much as I would have liked. They went to Lance. They stopped the penalties. That helps. No turnovers. That helps. That will help you win. When you can win the turnover battle, 3-0, you can typically win the game. It probably shouldn't have been as close as it was, but nevertheless, 3 turnovers, it'll help you win every single time. It will. Oh, no, McCarthy showed us something today. McCarthy, I'm telling you, McCarthy showed us something today. What if we run the table? Hey, you know what? The teams they got left, this was what they were looking forward to with Dak Prescott, because they figured if they could split or do a little bit better than a split on the first 10 games, you maybe go 6-4. This is what they were hoping for. The Cowboys knew that the down the stretch schedule was going to be weak. See, the Dallas Cowboys ran into the teeth of their schedule early. So they were going to benefit from an easier schedule down the stretch. But now they've putting themselves behind the 8 ball, and Dak is hurt. And so now they're not going to be able to do what they probably could have done with Dak Prescott, and probably could have made a little bit of, probably could have made a little bit of noise in the playoffs. But I'm sorry, the Detroit Lions right now are juggernaut. And I just don't see any team. I don't care what anyone says. I just don't see any team right now beating the Detroit Lions. No Cap says, yeah, great win. Hey, No Cap. Hey, Purdy making the case, I think, today. I think Brock Purdy making the case that he might be a little bit more valuable than we think. Ronnie Young said, Big Mike is still a good coach. I don't care what anybody says about about him. Sharon Stephen, wrong. I think he is still a good coach, but I still got a problem with Mike. He's got to get more consistent with that play calling, like he did today, like he did in the Pittsburgh game. He's got to do these types of things every single time. And I think he still needs some tweaking. Probably needs some players, of course. He does need some players, but yeah. I think he showed us he got something, but I'll be honest with you, I still wouldn't. I just don't think he's a consistent motivator of men. That's my problem with Mike, too. Yeah, they had to take Guyton out. Line looked pretty good. Yes, sir, G. The Cowboys played with a little bit of pride and wanted to beat Dan. Yep, more than winning for Mike McCarthy. I think so, too. Marlon Brando, what's going on? Sadly, this was the best quarterback performance from a Dallas quarterback all season. I don't know. I think the performance of Dak Prescott against the Pittsburgh Steelers, even with a couple of turnovers, I think that was probably the best performance. But it was the best performance by far for Cooper Rush. Y'all can't even score right can't even get the score right on your thumbnail. Okay, did I mess it up? What was the score? I thought it was 36-26. They have to do something with Guyton. No, they're not gonna do anything with Guyton. They got Guyton. He here to stay. What do you mean if Dak played today? What do you mean today? Okay, I don't think I remember saying that, because I think I said that if Dak would have played today, they would have beat this team. I think it would have been 42 points. No Cap, no one's beating the Lions. They're a juggernaut right now. I mean, what they've done with that team, how they built that team, I'm sorry, that team is a juggernaut. Having Bland back made a difference. I think kneeling too. Yep, it did. It for surely did. Yep, Purdy is not no bum. Yep, he's proven. I mean, you're seeing it today. Dallas have 6 games remaining, 4 homes, 2 road. Yep. I got a feeling they're going to be able to split those. Yeah, Jay Recruit, I said the same thing. I think the Dak Prescott in the Steelers game was the best one, even with a couple of turnovers. Nisa said one game Thomas needs to line up a wide receiver. He's killing it on special teams. Yep. Now we see why they tried to throw him that fake punt, maybe. But next time, make sure you throw it to him when you're open. No Cap said, even though we lost, the Niners are 1 game out of first place. Every NFC team has a hard schedule remaining. Yep. I'm not going to count them out yet, but you know what? Hey, man. Hey, Brock Purdy is showing that I'm worth something. No, I disagree. Just because you have turnovers don't mean it's not a good performance. Guyton is out of position. I think they're going to move Guyton to that right side. I think they'll move him to the right side come next year for sure. Zim auditioning for a head coach job next year. Hopes is with the Cowboys. He won't be the head coach of the Cowboys, but I will not be surprised because I got a strange feeling. I could be crazy, but I have a strange feeling. I have a strange feeling that Jerry Jones is going to give Al Harris an opportunity to be the defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. I really do. I think that's what's going to happen. I wouldn't mind having Mike Zimmer in some kind of consultant type of role, but I don't know. I still say, though, at the end of the day, man, I'm just telling you, Mike Zimmer, I'm sorry. I've been saying it all year, man. Mike Zimmer has just done so much with less, man. It's just crazy what Mike Zimmer's done with this defense with all the injuries that he's had. And even though they amassed quite a bit of yards on him in the first few games, but Mike has done his job, man. He's done his job, and his job, he just keeps getting better every week. And I want to show you the defensive keys that I mentioned for the Dallas Cowboys, and I find these to be so ironic. The defensive keys I had for the Cowboys were stop the run. They stopped the run again. And I mean, Jalen Daniels, really, he just wasn't effective. He just wasn't effective. And so they stopped the run. They did something to the Washington Commanders that they couldn't do with the Eagles. With the Eagles, they stopped Saquon Barkley, but they couldn't stop Jalen Hurts. But with the Commanders, they shut down the Washington run game, and they pretty much made Daniels ineffective. It didn't even matter what he did, but they stopped the run. Yeah, Lewis, this is the problem with this Cowboy team. Every time Cooper Rush wins, they have to start talking about Dak Prescott. It doesn't matter what they say. Dak Prescott is going to be the starter for this team for the future. Jerry said Dak Prescott showed toughness in that Steelers game beyond the stats. Yep, that was a low-key elite win. Yep, because everybody said it. They said it was a $60 million quarterback win. Everybody said it. Because I guarantee you Cooper Rush hasn't shown that he can throw interceptions and dig himself into a hole and then dig himself out of it. He's a backup quarterback. He did his job today. I'm glad with Cooper Rush. I'm not going to beat up on Cooper Rush. He did what he was supposed to doggone do. He's a backup quarterback. Win some games. Did anyone see the return play at the end when the Washington player got clocked? Boy, did they knock him out. Knocked him out, bro. I did. Missed him. And I don't think they showed the replay. Oh, no, they clocked him. Yeah, they clocked him. They didn't want to show that again. People need to stop with the Guyton bashing. Tyler Smith was not much better his rookie year. Yeah, the problem with the Cowboys is, Jay Recruiter, they have poor player development. So they throw these players into the fire so quick that if you're not careful, you'll think that they're not any good. But I think Guyton's going to be better when they move him to the right. Smith wasn't nowhere near bad. Yeah, he probably wasn't bad as Guyton. I would agree with that. But I think Guyton's going to be all right. I think he's going to be all right when they move him back to the right. King James, I'm happy the Cowboys win, but let's see what happens next week. They're going to win. The Giants are in full tank mode, bro. Y'all can book it. The New York Giants are not going to relinquish that number 2 spot easy. Why? Because they're in the catbird seat. They want that win. And it makes sense why they want that win. They want that win, y'all, because even if they don't per se get Shedeur Sanders, they can hold the rights to Shedeur Sanders by saying, who wants to trade us for Shedeur Sanders pick? Oh, I'm telling you, the Raiders better hope they finish ahead of the New York Giants, because I think that the New York Giants are going to use Shedeur Sanders to get 2 or 3 draft picks out of the Raiders. I think they're going to do it. And that's exactly what I would do. That's exactly what I would do. Dak Prescott would have called the Commanders up with this defense. Oh, yeah, they look trash out there. They really did. And I hate to say that, but they were terrible. They tried to get run back off the kickoff, and he got knocked out. I mean, straight up knocked out. The question is now, will this team show up Thursday, or will they revert back? Nisi, I think they will be this team Thursday. Now, going forward is the question, because the New York Giants going to lay down. The New York Giants are not like the Dallas Cowboys. Brian Daboll got the memo. You better not win a game. I bet you they've already told Brian, you better not win a game. You win a game, we're going to Lovie Smith you. We're going to Lovie Smith you. We'll fire you. We'll fire you if you go out there and win a game. And so I said that the Cowboys need to stop the run, and they did that. And then the next key I said, I'm telling you, I didn't think this one was going to happen, but I said they needed to contain Jaden Daniels. They did it. They contained him. They literally made him ineffective. He had one great throw, catch, and run at the end, midway through the fourth quarter, but other than that, and it looked like they were about to mount a comeback. I mean, how do you, man, I'm guaranteeing you that Dan Quinn has to be sick, that they would actually miss something as simple as an extra point. But I think they didn't realize the pressure that was on that kid. I mean, that's a lot of pressure. I mean, and I'm not sure, but I don't think the snap was that good. But whatever the case may be, he missed it. And that was it. And then, look at this one. I never thought they were going to do this one. They not only got some turnovers, y'all. They got 3 turnovers? You think the game would have been a bigger score than it? I mean, when you look at how they got the 36 points, I mean, if you didn't look at the game and look at the box score, you would think, wow, the Cowboys really put it to them. No, they really didn't put it to them. It was still a game all the way down to the end, and then Kevontae Turpin put a John Madden spin, and they said something about Kevontae Turpin. They said he's the fastest player in the league. I don't know about that part, because I think that probably is Tyreek Hill, but he fast. Man, that little dude is fast, man. Gabe says, you're right, Jay. I think Mike McCarthy will remain the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Anybody Dallas gets will be emasculated by Jerry Jones. Me and my uncle was talking about it today. Why would Jerry get somebody else? Why would he? When you think about how Jerry Jones is, Mike McCarthy is the perfect coach for Jerry Jones. He's the perfect coach. It's hard to find yes men. It is. I'm not going to believe it, and I keep saying it. I'm not going to believe that Mike McCarthy is out of the building until he's out of the building. I'm not going to believe it. Jared said against the Steelers, no one is going to put up monster stats. The real test of metal is how do you ultimately finish, and do you have enough in the tank to ultimately win anyway? Yep. And that's what Jameis Winston was able to do. The Giants is starting the worst quarterback in the league for the rest of the season. Oh, yeah, the fix is in, Robert, for them. I mean, Lewis Bailey. They're not going to do what we did. Because I'm telling you, Jerry Jones today, he's going to be saving face, and he's going to be up here, Cooper Rush, and he's going to be doing, and Mike did. No, I'm telling you, Jerry can't be happy. You can't tell me when you were already playing for 2025, there's no way Jerry can tell me that he's happy that they won today. I bet you Jerry thought this was going to be a loss. Robert said Dallas has been spoiled by recent successes throwing an O-lineman in the battle sometimes, though it takes a little longer. Yeah, remember Tyler Smith next to him hasn't been playing long himself. Yeah, I think they're going to be a lot better. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, 34-26. 34-26. Okay, gotcha. 3 turnovers obviously isn't good, but the thing is that it'll happen at times to anyone. Winning anyway shows good winners and intangibles. Now watch this, Jared. Do we not realize the Dallas Cowboys were about to make Jaden Daniels into a folk hero? If they tie that game on that throw to Jaden Daniels, this is the mark of a winner. When you can be down an entire game like Jaden Daniels was, he makes one great throw. And if they make that extra point, now what do the Cowboys do? What do they do now? Because now I got Cooper Rush where I want him. I want Cooper Rush in a must-win situation if I'm the Washington Commanders. That's where I want him if I'm Dan Quinn. I'm about to make him beat me now. I'm going to make him beat me. That's where you want him. But boy, when that dude missed that extra point, you let him off the hook. That made them have to do the onside kick. That made them have to do it. So you think about how these games turn on plays, but Jaden Daniels was about to be made into a folk hero because if they get that ball back, if they tie that score up, it goes into overtime, and then Jaden Daniels wins that game in overtime. Oh, he's a folk hero. Oh, he's the best thing since sliced bread. Zims D will show up, y'all. His players have bought into his system. Yeah. He got a little loosey-goosey at the end, but for the most part, I love what Zim did. Coach for Jerry Jones, like, boy, Shannon Sharp said that. He said it's like Batman without his utility belt or Superman on kryptonite. You got nothing or no power with the team. That's what he said. But I tell you this. Mike McCarthy got the best revenge today. Winning. How mad do you think Jerry is? Win the game. That's all you have to do. Win the game. Man, I don't know. I'd love to see him in the race. Oh, yeah, they said it last game, clocked at 22. I'd love to see him in the race. Because I'm telling you, Turpin got that football speed, just like Tyreek Hill. Yeah, Jerry's face didn't look happy, and I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, man. And so for the most part, when you look at this game, man, it was really a great win by the Cowboys. I'm just going to be honest with you. It was a great win by them. I'm just not even going to front. Rod, what's going on, man? Appreciate that $10 super chat. Appreciate you. Roderick says, what a bizarre game. Yep. Both teams had me in awe. How did that kicker miss the field goal? I thought it was over when McLaughlin caught that pass and scored, and then we ran back in the onside kick. Wow. It was bizarre. I'm telling you, man, it was bizarre. Did Jerry have a freaking play sheet when they showed him in the box? They give him the play sheet. So it probably was. Jay Orman says, but what I don't understand is why does Jerry not allow the coaches to have power? Why does he control what the coaching staff, the head coach gets? Why not he let them have a voice? Is it his ego? Yep. Jerry wants to be the reason rather than a part of the reason. Tanking isn't easy for fans or players. There are a lot of teams that want to kick us while we're down. Yep. And I'll tell you this part too, Lewis. Tanking is also hard for people who are playing for jobs. They're not in on it. They're not trying to tank. Folk who want jobs, they're not trying to tank. No, they want to win. And so, because this is the catch 22. You cannot go to them and say you're tanking. Now, you might be able to go to some of those star players and have a conversation. But if I'm Butler, you can't have a conversation with me. You better not come at me like that if I'm Butler. Nah, bro, I'm playing for a starting position. I'm going to show y'all I'm better than Carson. I'm going to show y'all I'm better than Trayvon Diggs. I'm playing for a job. And so it's hard. It's hard to do that. What's going on, Jose? I can't believe we won this game. I missed the feeling of winning a game. You know what, though? For me, I'm torn because I already said I was going to enjoy the rest of the season. I said I'm going to enjoy the rest of the season. But my other issue is I'm glad they won, but I was also looking at the draft. And I'm like, this team needs a top 10 draft pick at a skill position. And I do believe after watching some college football last week, and I'm going to watch a little bit more in the weeks to come, but I know everybody is screaming Ashton Genty, but as in looking at college football, there are some other running backs out there that I believe the Cowboys can get that while they may not be Ashton Genty, but we got to be careful thinking Ashton Genty is going to be the Ashton Genty of Boise State when he comes into the league. I think there are some other players some other running backs that would be worthy of the Cowboys picking up. Nisi said that McCarthy probably gave Jerry a fake play sheet. It's a shame. I was just telling my uncle that this morning, that I think it's a shame that GMs got play sheets. I just don't think there's another GM doing that stuff. What's your point? What's going on? What's your point? I think you're right. Let's talk. Let's continue putting that highlight on Stephen Jones. He's the one throwing the rock and hiding his hand. For sure. For sure. For sure. And we're going to see exactly what he's going to do next year because they got a lot of people to sign. The 70s fan, is that the best the Commanders have? They aren't there yet. Long way. And I'm going to tell you something, man, I don't know if they're going to get there either. Dan Quinn may live to regret the day that he gave up 3 draft picks for Marshawn Lattimore. For Lattimore. I think that's his first name. But who gives up that much for Lattimore and he ain't even playing yet? Man, Dan Quinn, come on, bro. You too, Jose. We got a chance to make a play. Well, you know, it's pretty thin. But yes, Gabe said I disagree with the garbage time. Jaden made a great read. And how do the Cowboys lose Terry McLaughlin? It was a great win for Dallas for though shutting down the run, and JD needed to be Superman for them. Well, like I said, Gabe, the Cowboys almost made him into a folk hero. Because I'm telling you, they make that field goal, that extra point, the momentum swung quickly. Jaden Daniels come down and win that game. Oh, man, it's crazy out there now. It's crazy out there now. Yeah, victory Sunday. I really just want us to beat Washington and Philly. Well, we're going to beat the Giants, so you can put them in there, Lewis. I don't know about Philly, though, man. Whew. I just don't know about Philly. And it's going to be cold, too. Man. But when we get down to Philly, it's going to be a different game. It's going to be a different. What's going on in the real Darryl? Genty is taking a lot of hits at Boise State. They were in a dogfight last night against Wyoming. I just think they can get another back and they don't have to get Genty. Kid from Ohio State. I mean, there are other people out there, and I think the Cowboys should really look at their draft board and see if they can get one of those running backs, maybe even at the top of the second. Because, I'm sorry, I still think the Cowboys need a wide receiver. I just think they need to get a wide receiver. Robert said that Lattimore had an ongoing hamstring issue and Washington still did that. I don't understand why they do that deal. It's crazy to me. We beat Philly, sweep Giants, sweep Washington, should be playoff. They'd still have to beat, but that would have to guarantee that those teams don't win another game. They would have to not win another game either, and that's going to be a problem. Because some of those teams, if I'm not mistaken, a couple of them will have to also play the Giants. And the Giants is going to be the monkey wrench and everything. Because even if the Cowboys made a run, whoever has more victories than them will probably at least beat the Giants. They'll at least beat the Giants. But, man, I'm not even going to start talking playoff shit. I just want to see how it all turns out. I want Ted over Genty. Well, Washington gave away all their draft capital to win at all this year. They're going to be hurt. Yep, and I do believe they're going to be running Dan Quinn out of town in about 2 years. It's cold up here in Philly, G, and I do want to beat the Eagles too. Oh, okay, you're a Dallas fan in Philly? Woo, boy, that's tough trading right there. That's tough trading. The Philly game is in Philly, so we have a chance. Whoo, man. Well, I put it like this. I think with that defense, I was like, watch the Cowboys. That's what DC said. Jalen Tolbert is a fourth wide receiver. Yep, no doubt. I really want them to see what they can do with Jonathan, with this Jonathan Mingo kid. I'd like to see him get a little bit more active. I'd like to see him get a little bit more active as the season goes on. And so I talked about special teams. Kevontae Turpin, he didn't run it out of the end zone, but I tell you this, Kevontae Turpin, boy, he gets a game ball. And so looking at my thoughts, and this is where I was wrong, they proved me wrong on almost every one of them. Dan Quinn will make a statement. Didn't do it. Rush will be ineffective again. Wasn't ineffective. Was not ineffective. Solid game plan. Mike had a solid game plan because the thing that I thought was so ironic, and the turnovers had something to do with this too, the Cowboys won one of the best stats you can win to win football games with. TOP. Time of possession. They won time of possession. Mike didn't stick with the run, so I wasn't necessarily wrong on that. But I did think Jaden Daniels was going to give the Cowboys fits. He didn't do that until the end. And we'll see Lance sooner than later. We did, but we really didn't see enough of him in my estimation. I said the Cowboys were going to lose 38-13 if they didn't run. And I thought they were going to lose 27-17 if they did run. And they wound up. So let me make sure I make a correction on that. And so the Cowboys wound up winning the game 34-24 and shocked me beyond. I'm just being honest with y'all. I don't know about y'all, but I am absolutely shocked. I'm absolutely shocked the Cowboys won this game. I'm not even going to pretend. I'm absolutely shocked. It's crazy to me. And I bet you Dan Quinn right now is looking crazy. Chris says, why would Steven want to undermine his father? Yeah. Cooks playing Thanksgiving. Yep, I'm imagining he is. Having Lance out there for like a couple of sacks wasn't needed. I think they need to make him a part of the red zone offense. Just let him have it. Just let him have it. Don't even deal with this one play junk. Okay, if you're going to bring him in, I know what he's going to do. Stop it. I know what he's going to do. I'm going to stop him. No, bring him in for the whole thing. Jerry tried to slip Mike that day. Let's pump the brakes with the playoffs. Yeah. Y'all gas and Cowboys are battery packs, but got to recharge this effort every week. Yeah, I'm going to pump the brakes on the playoff talk. But I do think they're going to beat the Giants. But so much has to happen for the Cowboys in order for them. So much has to happen for the Cowboys in order for them to make the playoffs. I mean, it's not even funny. I'm just going to enjoy it from game to game. I'll just see what it looks like from game to game. Mike Lewis said that offensive line played a little bit better since Dak been out. Well, it played a lot better today because of how they arranged it. I mean, I don't think it's so much Dak. Zach Martin is not what he used to be. He's not what he used to be. And so I think, I said this the other day, I would actually prefer the Cowboys to go ahead and stay with this young offensive line. I really would. I would like for them to stay with this young offensive line and keep working it. The Commanders are not that good. They just lost 3 in a row and needed a miracle to beat the Bears. Yep. That part too, Jay Recruiter. I mean, I told my wife today, I said they're fraudulent. I mean, they're just fraudulent, man. It's pitiful. Rick represented Rush We Trust. Yeah, they're definitely fraudulent. And I want to give some game balls out today. And these are the game balls that I have for today. My first game ball would go to Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer deserves a game ball and the entire defense. Mike Zimmer had that defense ready for most of the game. I mean, he got a little shaky down there at the end. Cliff Kingsbury, he turned it up a little bit on him. But for the most part, I mean, the defense were pretty much lights out most of the day. I'm going to give Mike McCarthy, I'm going to give him a game ball. I do think the game that he called was within what Cooper Rush could do. He didn't try to make him be outside of himself. He got creative with some of the plays. He did some things. He did a lot of things right. He didn't do any stupid situational stuff today. And I think some of the turnovers and the way the defense helped in that. But for the most part, I think Mike McCarthy was pretty good. They were mistake-free. John Fossil, I mean, I guess I got to give him credit because Kevontae Turpin broke the game open. He really did. Kevontae Turpin broke the game wide open. Robert said, DQ, they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook. Man, boy. Nisi says, since Mike knows the Giants are lying down, we may see Trey Lance on Thursday because Jerry wants to see that trade package. Might as well, because the Giants going to lay down for him. They are. The Giants and the Cowboys, us Cowboy fans I'm so torn on this because the more we win, the further we're going to fall back in the draft and the reason why we're going to fall far back in the draft is because there are really so many bad teams. I mean, it's literally congested in there with the 4 to 6 win teams. I mean, it is congested. And so any kind of win just moves you further away from the top 10. And I really wanted the Cowboys to draft in the top 10. I just really think they need something like that. They need something like that. Yeah, I think the same thing, Gabe. The Commanders are frauds. Defenses have enough tape on Cliff Kingsbury. Know the key to beating them. It's a copycat league, and all these teams are getting the script. Yeah, I'm with you. What's that? What your point says, our defense comes back healthy. They're actually pretty good. We just haven't had an opportunity to see it. It doesn't surprise me today. Cowboy knows Queen's defense. Hands off to Butler and Thomas. Yes, they played well. More Trey Lance, bring it on. Yeah, I want to see some more Trey Lance. I really want to see him get some more opportunities. And I think you will see him get some more opportunities as it goes. But, man, I'm telling you, this game, it was so crazy to me. I mean, it's just amazing to me that the Cowboys won. It's amazing to me. There is no way you can tell me. I mean, and let's not take nothing away from the Commanders. I thought they played pretty good too as far as I think they played pretty good today as far as defense goes. They held the Cowboys, 91 yards rushing. That's a lot better for the Cowboys, but they held them to 241 yards passing. I mean, it wasn't just how they got thrashed, but a lot of times when people are looking at Cooper Rush games, and this is the point I made in the Rams game in 2022, and even though Cooper Rush played better than the Rams game, I still say, though, this is very significant. you have to look at this part right here. The Washington Commanders, and I'm sure this is what Dan Quinn is telling them. You can't beat anybody with turnovers. Who do you beat with turnovers? They were still in the game all the way to the end with 3 turnovers. Who do you beat with 3 turnovers? They had 1 fumble lost, and they had 2 interceptions thrown. It's going to be hard to beat teams like that. It's going to be hard to beat teams. And so I'm sure that's the message that he has for him, though. Let's see. I want to look at something right here. Because, man, turnovers make a huge difference. Turnovers make a huge difference. Even if the team doesn't per se score off of those points. But the problem is those are points that you didn't score. Those are points that you didn't score. Those are absolutely drive killers. And so you think about it, they beat the Commanders, and if you take away that last crazy one by the last crazy onside kickoff return, I mean, they were literally in the game. Had it not been for a missed field goal, and I would have loved to see what happened if they hadn't missed it. Bailey said, yeah, Jerry Blewett, if we would have had a regular off season and some pieces, we would have had a top 3 record at least. Yes. I believe they would have been top 3. I do believe they would have been top 3. They would have been right below, probably been number 2. I think the number 2 thing in the NFC is kind of wishy-washy. The only dominant team is Detroit, so that would be the only team we'd have to win. It's the only way. Yep, Robert, it's nice dissecting the win. And so get ready. You're going to be doing another one. Brandon Aubrey was human today. Missed 2 field goals. 1 kick got blocked, and he missed 1. Yep. That's why you got to make sure, and the Cowboys are going to remember this going forward, just because you have a great kicker, you have got to stop putting so much on the leg of one Brandon Aubrey. You need to start scoring doggone touchdowns rather than field goals. Touchdowns rather than field goals. And so I'm getting ready to get off here. I think, is it the Sunday night game? Isn't it a Sunday night game, the Philadelphia Eagles? Okay, yeah, I want to watch this Eagles versus the Rams game. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to let everybody go. Before you get out of here, please make sure you hit that like button so we can get this into the algorithm. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell. I'm going to be back tonight after the Philadelphia Eagles game, and we'll talk some more about this Cowboys game. But I also want to see what the Eagles do tonight, because that'll be even more to talk about as we talk about Victory Sunday. And thank you for the person, whoever pointed out the thumbnail. All right, somebody pointed out the thumbnail. So we'll make sure we get that thumbnail corrected. I mean, that's the cool thing. You can easily correct that stuff. You can easily correct that stuff. But yep. Y'all planning on watching the game tonight? Cowboys won, so hey, might as well watch some more football. I can stomach more football whenever the Dallas Cowboys have a victory. And I'll be honest with you, it's been so long since the Cowboys had a victory, I don't even know how to act. And I don't know how to act simply because I was hoping for a high draft pick, but now we done knocked ourselves out, and who knows how to turn out. Chris says, not related to the topic of Dallas and Washington, G, but how do you feel about Skip Bayless? There's a reason why he's not on mainstream TV no more. Used to love Skip Bayless. He's such a hater. Says a lot of things that are just so hateful and evil. I can't deal with Skip Bayless no more. Eagles-Rams game. Eagles win by 9. Woo, boy, you better be careful. It could be another upset in the brewing. Eagles versus Rams, G. Yep, about to go watch it myself. Rams, Rick Shipper said, let's go Rams. Eagles. I would not be surprised if the Rams win tonight. Gabe said, appreciate you. I'll be back with you tonight. All right, appreciate you. I'll be back tonight. They won. Shocking. I know, Roberta. I know. I said the same thing. Let everyone, Robert. Yep. See y'all. Got food coming. Appreciate y'all. Make sure you hit that like button on the way out. Subscribe if you already haven't. I'll see y'all around 10:30, 10:45. Yep. Go Rams, Bailey. Till next time. Let's talk Cowboys. We talk facts. Peace.